Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today we got some Chelsea news. We're going to update on Wesley Fofana. We're going to talk a little bit about Raheem Sterling and his comments in the past week. We're also going to take a little look at Pierre, Emerick, Aubameyang again, Frenkie De Jong or Frenkie De Jong, whichever one it is. We see different variations of the name. I want to see the passport before I start calling him Frank or Frank. For whatever reason, Frank seems like the easiest way to go. If you're not yet subscribed though to the George Benson football channel, I'd love to ask you to do so. We've got the first 6 things we learn of the season coming up on Sunday evening, my time, Sunday evening, probably your time as well, for Chelsea versus Spurs. Arguably the biggest game in our season. Stamford Bridge, Tottenham at home, our biggest rivals. Forget the stories of Liverpool. Forget competing with Man United, Man City for Premier League titles. Tottenham Hotspur, yeah, they might not compete with us for trophies, but now, more than ever before, with Antonio Conte as the manager, with the squad that they've built, this game is going to be feisty. This game is going to be interesting. It's going to be entertaining, and I'm slightly concerned about it. I'm not going to lie, but we'll talk about that in tomorrow's video, where we go through my Chelsea versus Tottenham preview, build my starting 11. But first things first, today, let's talk a little bit first of all about Wesley Fofana. The interesting thing right now with Chelsea and our window is when we look at some of the players that are leaving, when we look at some of the touted stories about reported fees, about players that might leave, the way that certain deals might go, Callum Hudson-Odoi wanted by Borussia Dortmund. We spoke about that in the last video. If he goes, are Dortmund going to cough up serious cash, or is it going to be another loan? So when we look at Frenkie De Jong, and reportedly the deal that Chelsea are willing to offer is more attractive to Frenkie De Jong than the Manchester United deal, because at this moment in time, Frenkie De Jong's camp say he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. I guess we might as well roll, first of all, with the De Jong story. I wanted to kind of tie in the ideas about Wesley Fofana, Leicester and the price, to how Chelsea's window might be affected with our ability to actually agree to the price for Wesley Fofana if we go for Frenkie De Jong. Manchester United wanted him for £72 million. Chelsea reportedly matched that kind of offer, but Barcelona, the more I look at Barcelona this window, the more frustrated I get. They're holding out, thinking that Frenkie De Jong saying he wants to stay means that he's going to adapt this 500 grand a week or whatever the ridiculous contract he's on. I'm not going to lie, brilliant player, would immediately improve our team, but I don't know if 500 grand a week is decent for me. I don't know if this is the value of the player, but then this is football in 2022. Who am I to say who deserves this, who deserves that? But at this moment in time, it's a stalemate. There isn't really anything new to update from 48 hours ago, 24 hours ago. Chelsea know that any deal for this player is entirely dependent on whether or not he says yes to Barcelona being like, mate, you got to significantly drop your wages down. Yes, we owe you about 15 odd million. The way that Barcelona are operating, have operated, and I've given up any kind of hope of actually figuring out and understanding how any of this works. Would Frenkie De Jong improve this Chelsea team? Yes, I think he would. Do I think that he's a bit similar to Mateo Kovacic? Yes. Do I think Kovacic is probably our best central midfielder? Yes, I do. But N'Golo Kante's getting on. Jorginho's getting on. It's been a never-ending love story with Jorginho's pending eventually return back to Italy. Is N'Golo Kante going to be able to survive the duration of the season? We'll have to wait and see. Conor Gallagher, exciting. Chukwuemeka, absolutely exciting. Frenkie De Jong coming in poses a lot of questions, even for the man that we've not mentioned, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He doesn't want to leave Chelsea. The moment we look at Frenkie De Jong coming in for around 72, 80 million pounds, you're wondering then, where does the money come from for Chelsea to go and meet the valuation of Leicester City to bring in Wesley Fofana? Wesley Fofana is an absolutely brilliant centre-back, be it standing, be it winning headers. Yeah, he's not the tallest centre-back in the world. I think his height is actually a bit deceiving. He's over 6 foot, but at the same time, this guy is ready-made Premier League top-level defender at only 22 years old. He is going to be right at the very top for many years. Kalidou Koulibaly looks as though immediately settled into Chelsea. Thiago Silva got our man of the match against Everton last week in a clean sheet in the opening day. You add Wesley Fofana to that back line. You've got Cucurella as an option. Left wing back also left centre-back position too. And I honestly think Wesley Fofana makes Chelsea's defence significantly better than what we even had last season. Yes, Andreas Christensen signs for Barcelona for free. We know that's going to be a long-term deal. Real Madrid, they signed Tony Rudiger for free, where Chelsea could have got significant amounts of money so that this Wesley Fofana deal wouldn't end up being like we're trying to tiptoe up the stairs and just hope that when we knock on the door of Leicester City, no one wakes up and we just, steal the money out of the drawer. You know what I mean? I think Chelsea will end up meeting the valuation of Leicester. I do think Wesley Fofana will become a Chelsea player this summer. And I think the reason I believe that is because of the persistence with Chelsea's interest. I think the fact that Leicester still haven't signed anybody, we've heard the stories about how business is going to go for Leicester City this summer. The only money they've got to spend, the only pot of funds that Brendan Rodgers has available is whatever comes in from selling players. And I think the longer the window goes on, Leicester are going to become desperate. And I think if Chelsea do manage to make up that 80 million quid, which if we sign De Jong, I've got many questions here. I really, really do. We haven't even spoke about Pierre, Emerick, Aubameyang yet. Chelsea are going to have had an absolutely astonishing window, which leads us to talk about Aubameyang, because the importance of a striker is, in my opinion, what makes or breaks the window in terms of we can spend all this money on multiple midfielders stacking out the middle of the park. But at the same time, with only Raheem Sterling coming in as an attacker, it wasn't just defensive frailties last season and defensive exits that were the reason why Chelsea fell short, so short, from both City and Liverpool at the end of the season last year. It was also the attack. We were impotent going forward. Yes, already, Ben Chilwell wins a penalty on the opening day of the season. Immediate boost to the attacking threat of Chelsea Football Club. Reece James, we've waxed lyrical about it, to take football therapy's term. But Reece James and Ben Chilwell immediately elevate the Chelsea attack. Do we need a striker? Yes, we do. If not, then all of these reinforcements all over the other areas of the field, in my opinion, only solidify last season's position and rectify the players that we lost. It leads us first of all to discuss Raheem Sterling, who seems very excited for this season. Don't know about you guys, but as much as I'm not the biggest Messi, Neymar fanboy, seeing Sterling on a Budweiser advert with the likes of Messi, with the likes of Neymar, I like this. It shows us the caliber of player that we've got. When we hear him speak, he was asked questions about the incident with racism in 2018. It taught Raheem Sterling that there is a lot more to life than football. We listen to the comments about the way he left Manchester City, knowing that he wasn't going to be a regular first-team starter. He comes to Chelsea to prove a massive point. In a World Cup year also, to prove a point to Gareth Southgate. Raheem Sterling knows there is so much more in the tank. I thought his performance against Everton was top 3 Chelsea players out there. I think he was unlucky not to score. He was unlucky not to score 2, really, in that game. So Raheem Sterling, everything I'm seeing from him on the field, be it in the friendlies and in match week number 1, everything we're seeing in interviews, I really think this is going to end up being £47.5 million well spent. I really think that the make or break between Chelsea winning the transfer window and significantly therefore contributing to a title race all hangs in the balance of whether or not we sign a top striker. We can argue all day about 33-year-old Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Is he good enough? At this point, the footballing market in terms of strikers, Chelsea missed the boat. We have lost Timo. We have lost Romelu Lukaku. So in terms of availability of top strikers, Lewandowski's gone to Barcelona. Aubameyang, if Chelsea come knocking with the correct offer, Aubameyang's probably going to want to go. At the moment, we're hearing that he's happy to stay. I think a lot of players at Barcelona, whether they want to get paid or not is irrelevant, but a lot of players at Barcelona want to stay because they're building a team that can compete again. There's absolutely no denying that whatsoever. But I think with Aubameyang's goal record, Premier League proven, probably wants to come back to the Premier League to prove that just because Lewandowski signs for Barcelona, this guy can still deliver at the very top level. We saw brilliant stats from him under Thomas Tuchel during his time at Dortmund as well. I think this is a good move for Chelsea. I don't know what the fee would be at this moment in time. It wouldn't be absolutely astronomical. Everything else that happens, whether we sign Fofana and De Jong, I worry significantly about the lack of goals potentially. With exits pending as well for maybe the likes of Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi could Pulisic leave, probably not, but Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, that looks like it could be exits. If Chelsea lose these players, who are we going to go for? And if it's not Aubameyang at this point, I'm struggling to see who it could be. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. We did a tier list a few weeks ago, but a lot of those strikers have moved now. So who could it possibly be? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this Chelsea news video today. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the Spurs content from tomorrow onwards. I'll catch you guys later. Come on, you Blues.